What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're continuing the Saw review series, getting ready for Spiral, coming out in about 9 days. So let's do it, and we're talking about Saw 5. Can this franchise, after 4 films, continue to be decent, at least as far as I'm concerned, as we get into the 5th film? And let's get into this entry where the film story revolves around Special Agent Peter Strahm, who continues the investigation of the Jigsaw case to finally end the murders and apprehend Detective Mark Hoffman, the successor of the late Jigsaw Killer. This review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. And to be honest, I enjoyed this movie. 5 in, and I thought it was pretty damn good. And I was, a little shocked about that because I felt that part 4 started to noticeably decline and it was a little more predictable and overall not as good as the first 3. So you're thinking, okay, we're going to start really going downhill. Was in a lot of ways better than 4 and even better than 2 and 3. I thought this one was awesome. The traps were sick in this one, including the opening scene with Seth Baxter, who gets ripped apart even though he passes the test, which tells us it's not an original John Kramer trap because his traps would never be completely unwinnable, although some are pretty much unwinnable, but there is at least conceivably, possibly some way to win and survive, whereas in this one there just wasn't. He was going to die no matter what. Hence, this was a Hoffman Trap. So it was a crazy one. And you had Strahm, the detective, stupidly ignore the tape recording telling him what to do in order to not die. And as usual, they disregard that and do what the hell they want, what their instinct says, which is the worst thing you can do. But anyway, he found his head stuck in a glass container filling with water, and he jabs a pin into his throat so he can breathe and actually survives. That was pretty sick, and it makes for an interesting story with Strahm now still alive and aware, or at least very suspicious, of Hoffman. He is onto him, and he asks some tough questions like, how the hell did you get out of there alive when no one else did? And Hoffman's like, well, you got out alive with a damn hole in my neck. We get a lot more flashbacks and more information on how Hoffman got involved with Jigsaw. I loved seeing, how Jigsaw would react to a copycat killer. How he told Hoffman, they say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but I find it somewhat distasteful, especially when the work is inferior. Boom, shots fired. And so that was super interesting. And again, we get a lot more connections with the previous entries, all the way back to the first film, seeing Dr. Lawrence's pen, how it ended up at the crime scene, and how it made Dr. Lawrence a suspect in that first film. We see them setting up the traps for Saw 2, all this connective tissue here within the franchise, even Jigsaw answering questions that many fans like me ask. So you just assume everything's just going to work out just the way you expect. And he said, I assume nothing. I anticipate the possibilities, and I let the game play. Great quote and a great moment in this one. Love, like I said, all the flashback scenes. And then the way Saw 5 ends is effing crazy. Strahm following Hoffman to that house from Saw 2. Just like Rigg, he ain't going to go home. He just ain't going home. He is not. It is not in his blood. It is not in his soul. It is not the way that he operates. He will not go home, even though that is the best thing to do. And if he would use his brain, he would know that. But he is not doing it. He's going to keep on pushing. So it's to their detriment that they don't want to just go home and relax and, everything will be just fine. No. So he finds a micro cassette, doesn't even finish listening to it, and he gets in a big fight with Hoffman, locks up Hoffman in that coffin, thinking, I got you, mother effer, and even said, I got you. You got nothing. He listens to that tape at that moment and realizes, oh crap, the coffin is the way to get out.
Never be heard from again. Your body will never be found. You will simply vanish. I ask you, Special Agent Strahm, have you learned enough to trust me? Will you heed my warning? For if you do not,
Fuck you.
This room will forever be your tomb, and my legacy will become yours. If you're good enough, make your choice.
The coffin is how you get out of here alive. Otherwise, this place, as he was warned, will become your tomb. And so he is crushed by the house, collapsing on him, or the room, and crushes him and sprays blood onto the coffin while Hoffman is just, lowered into safety, and he just looks on. Absolutely brutal. I mean, just an insane, memorable, and horrifying way to end this film. I thought it was freaking awesome. As for the negatives of Saw 5, there is another group storyline. I'm not always too happy about the group storylines. There was one in Saw 2. It wasn't too bad there. But I feel like the acting and the line delivery and just something about these scenes just kind of goes downhill. It just feels like a typical horror movie that kind of sucks. At times anyway. But it's going to get even worse with a future installment. So we're going to have some more groups coming. And interesting that they have to all work together again. And as the tape implores, please do not follow your instincts. Work together and you can survive. Do they do that? Hell to the no. They don't work together. And of course, one by one, they are, getting taken out. So it's a pretty interesting storyline. There's this one moment I thought was just totally unrealistic where one girl kills another. These aren't just regular civilians. They're not murderers, killers, anything like that. They're normal people who obviously, did some greedy things or made some mistakes that caused them to be here. But, one girl kills the other girl. She has some kind of a knife or something. And while the other girl's talking, she just goes, just jabs it in her neck. And she's just like straight face, like she's done it before. Like she's just a killer. She just kills someone. She just murders someone. She just rips someone's jugular open, and she acted like it was nothing. I know it was for a coolness, badass moment. It just looked stupid because it was like, no, that is not how somebody kills somebody who's not a normal killer. It just wouldn't happen that way. But the last part of that, part of the film was pretty cool when they realized, okay, now you got to give blood to get out of here. But if we were all alive, we would just have to give a little bit of blood each. Now there's only 2 of us. We got to give practically, enough blood to kill us. And that's pretty interesting. But, that's how they kind of knew it was going to play out. Whether Hoffman or Jigsaw, they know how this stuff's going to play out. They know people are going to follow their instincts. They're actually terrible people. Even Jigsaw, absolutely horrible, to put people in these positions and think that just like on a whim, boom, they're going to change everything about themselves. And no, they're just going to be dead. But I really enjoyed the Strauss-Hoffman mouse game going on there, the flashbacks, the ending. The only thing, this one didn't have a massive twist. Nothing really shocking here other than, you didn't know how Strahm was going to go down, but you had a pretty good idea he was going to go down and that, Hoffman was going to continue. And that's what happened. But, there was really no rug pulled from underneath us. So I wouldn't say it was predictable because you kind of expect a twist, a big, huge twist, and there not being one. It was a little twist in of itself, I guess you could say. But overall, I thought it was just a really great horror film. So that's Saw 5, and honestly, it's one of my favorites in the franchise. Not going to bullshit. 5 in, and I'm still feeling it. Don't worry if you're like, dude, this franchise it goes to shit. It does. It does, but it takes quite a bit of time, so I'm pretty impressed that through 5 films, I love this franchise. I thought this one was absolutely great. In fact, I say it's freaking awesome, and it gets an 8.8 out of 10. This thing was really good. One of my favorites in the franchise. Saw 5, I think it's very underrated. That's my opinion. I thought the ending was amazing. I thought it just was a really fun one. So I enjoy Saw 5 a lot. From here, we'll see what happens with Saw 6, Saw 3D, Jigsaw. But what about the one that's coming up? Please be good. Please don't be shit. I can't wait to find out. So y'all hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button for more Saw reviews, horror reviews, music reviews. You have a great day.